viewers out there, could you describe this exhibit and why you think it's so important, especially now?
Well, to describe the exhibition is pretty simple. It's a 5-channel video projection. There'll be a large projection area with soft seating for about 20 people. So the gallery will largely be empty and dark with one big projection and audio playing. There'll be a kiosk where people can engage with the Question Bridge website and learn more about it and kind of look through the archive of other interviews that are not included on the projection. And so that leads to what the content of the video is. And the content is basically the distillation of 150 different interviews that the artist conducted with different black men all around the country. And so they would go to these interview locations, and they tried to choose, a diversity of men from different backgrounds and different life situations and positions and careers and ages, etc. And then they would ask a question, and then that question would be played for the subsequent interviewees, and then the following men would answer those different questions. And so through editing, it appears as if there's a sort of a free-form flow of consciousness conversation between these different men on 5 different channels. And the editing is really sweet. It's really well done and careful and tight. It's thoughtful, it's interesting, it has kind of an arc and trajectory to it throughout. It's a 3-hour-long video. It's not intended to be a cinematic experience where you sit and watch the whole thing, though I'm sure some people will. It's really intended to be engaged with wherever you do. If you walk in halfway through it, that's fine. You watch some of it, you get up, you walk around, and you sit back down and watch some more of it, perhaps. And so it's a really thoughtful project which attempts to give a platform for black men to represent and redefine and reconsider black male identity through their own simple interview format. And often what happens through the video trajectory is one question will be asked, and then through the multiple different answers that are put forth by different men, the demographic container, as one of the artists describes, just falls apart. And I think that's really one of the key messages with this exhibition, that you cannot define so easily. You cannot define any demographic. And one of the artists who helped to create this project, his name's Hank Willis Thomas. I'll sort of paraphrase him. He said that there's as much diversity within any demographic as there is outside of it. And so he continues to say, why would you allow yourself to be defined by someone else's definition of you? And he also adds to that, he says something to the effect of, the craziest thing about blackness is that black people didn't define that, didn't create the term. And of course not. I mean, that's so simple, but it's a very important point today. So the exhibition is really thoughtful. It's really well considered and very different for us. But it's not different in that it addresses an important social issue or a political issue or something very relevant to our time. We have a real significant commitment to showing artworks that engage with something very important for Rochester or for our conditions, our life, our situation in some way, shape, or form. This is a very common thread in the contemporary art world. Artists are involved with issues. So if we were not showing works that had sometimes some controversial element or some complex political or social messaging, and sometimes hard to watch, hard to engage with questions and ideas, we wouldn't be doing our job as a contemporary art center. Again, you might not like every part of it, but it should make you think, it should make you engage, it should make you consider your life differently perhaps, someone else's life differently, and certainly, definitely, it should make you think about the role of the arts in expanding dialogues and conversations.
I'm curious, when this exhibition was chosen, was there any consideration given to the timing, that it would be in the same year as the 50th anniversary of July '64.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the timing, I mean, I wasn't searching for a project
Uh-huh.
to be a part of that, part of all the programming that's happening around that anniversary. But when I learned about the project, I saw that the timing could work out and we could fit into that. When I learned about the project, see, I learned about it and I didn't realize that it was actually within reach for us as a small contemporary art center. When I learned about it, it was at the Brooklyn Museum, and I just sort of wrote it off as a much larger project. Then I saw that it was traveling, and actually it was sort of interesting. Someone locally called me and asked when the exhibition was happening. They were confused. It was taking place at the Rochester Art Center in Minnesota. So then when that happened, I thought, wow, it's going to Rochester, Minnesota. So then I looked into it more, and I learned that, you know, we're certainly able to bring it to Rochester. So that's how it all transpired.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we're working together, RCTV and the Rochester Contemporary Art Center are working together on this. RCTV is sponsoring it, and we're going to be doing an interactive program called Dialogues. But what I find really exciting too is the events that are taking place around it. So could you just kind of give a brief rundown on, you know, the conversations that are going to be taking place around Question Bridge and Dialogues?
Yeah, we're going to have at least 8 different public discussion sessions where different community leaders and educators will take a bit of the video of that 3-hour interview format that I mentioned and respond to it, and then hopefully engage with the audience to think about how it relates to Rochester or doesn't relate to Rochester, or, you know, perhaps even just critique the video overall or the concept. And so we'll have a whole program of those listed on our website now. And we'll also have a number of other private events happening, engaging with local youth. The Warner School is organizing a workshop at ROCO for high school educators, a whole range of different programs.
Great. We only have about 1 minute left. So if someone wanted to get involved with the Rochester Contemporary Art Center, what would you suggest?
I would suggest going to our website, checking things out, but of course just stopping by. You stop by over a few months. You know, visit a couple different exhibitions, get a sense of what we do. There are all kinds of different volunteer opportunities. Of course, we always need new members. Members help to sustain the organization, just like RCTV. So there are, you know, all kinds of ways for people to get involved and you know, lend their expertise.
Great. Thank you so much for being my guest. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.